Hi guys. Um, right, I've never done this before, so please bear with me. I suppose I just want to address a couple of things upon reflection from speaking at the Dail there on Wednesday, and I suppose different things that were said and that kind of thing. You know, so I suppose people don't know me. I better give a bit of an introduction. My name is Sarah Jane. I'm from Donegal. I'm an Irish mother. I'm a very proud Irish mother. I'm very proud to have grown up in this country. I am Irish through and through. I love my nation and I love my people. Before all this carry on started, I was nursing in England. I was a mental health nurse. I was nursing people with severe mental health problems. I had a very good career. Loved it. Loved where I was living. Had loads of plans for my future. And this shit show happened. So I decided that because I was seeing what was going on in my hospital, I did my research, health research, and realised something's not right. I thought, right, I need to get home for my family, and I'm probably going to have to fight for my country. And that's what's brought me home. Basically, I gave up my career, and I've been on this journey ever since, trying to find solutions, you know. I started off in England going to protest, the very first protests in London and stuff like that. I started going to them, and I've been speaking out online and everything. I mightn't have been speaking very much within the truth communities and that kind of thing because I suppose I wouldn't have a lot of confidence when it comes to being online and that kind of thing. So I suppose on Wednesday outside the Dail, I felt the urge, I felt the pull to get up there and give our people a message, you know. For the past few years, I have been going to every informative meeting, learning about all the different types of law, your common law, your maritime law, tort law, everything, learning as much as I could, learning about trusts, etc., you know. And I suppose I came to the realisation that, you know, there's only so much that you really need to know about the corporation side of things. We know what has happened, and we know that we have been brought in as a corporation. Like, we know with our birth certs and that kind of thing, when people could talk about the straw man, we understand all that, you know. And then not only that, but then our nation, our country was turned into a corporation, you know. So they got it at us at all angles. So I also came to the realisation that, you know, a lot of this stuff, I feel that a lot of people are out there and they're trying to protect their property and their belongings and things that they own and everything. And I came to a point where I thought, Jesus, we're looking out for our private property and all that, but sure, what about the country? What about our people? Like, things don't matter. When it comes to the crunch, you know, your property, your everything, that doesn't matter. What matters is our country and our nation, our people, and what is going to be left for our grandchildren, our future generations and all that, you know. And these people that died for us, these people that fought for us, what did they die for? Did they die in vain? You know? And I imagine our ancestors looking down upon us and those people that died looking at us and with disappointment and like, what have you done? What have you allowed to happen because you have been sleeping all these years? How have we allowed our country to get to this stage, you know? So after all, learning about this and learning about that and getting a very good understanding, you know, I was looking for something different. And I came across the IRB, and they were doing the sovereign certificates and things like that. And I went to that, and, you know, that brought up a lot of questions for me. And I tried to ask questions and I was just shot down really every time when I was trying to find out stuff that didn't sit well with me and that kind of thing, you know. And then, I mean, that's after a lot of research, you know. Then I decided, then I came across the Unbunrocked, our Constitution. And to be quite honest with you, I didn't realise the significance of the Constitution or a Constitution, you know. So then I started looking into that and listening to people who knew about it, and they were naming different sort of documents and that kind of thing. And I was looking all into that. I wasn't talking about the Unbunrocked. At the beginning when I came across it, I wanted to do my research. I wanted to look into it. I wanted to make sure that what I was following was right and was the right way forward. You know, we were looking for solutions for the past few years. We've been looking away for solutions. That's all we want. We want a solution to this problem, you know. And the more I looked at the Unbunrocked, the more it started resonating with me. And, you know, somebody had said to me in the éiRe, you don't need to know history. It doesn't matter. History doesn't matter. And I thought to myself, well, history does matter, because you need to know your factual settings. You need to know, you know, where you stand in law. What is the law of the land, etc. You know, it was Michael D. Higgins that said we need to know our factual settings, you know. And this Constitution has brought me to my factual setting. I know where I am. And because of it, I have gained so much strength. I feel so much power. I now understand what sovereignty was. I thought I did, but I didn't. Now I understand what sovereignty is, and it's the most powerful thing in the world, you know. It's just wonderful, you know. And I suppose the thing is that the Unbunrocked is in the Supreme Court for record, you know. So there's no arguing that this is the law of the land. You know, the 1919 Constitution, right, that's been talked about. So it would appear now that we have two 1919 Constitutions. So the first one is from the first sitting of the Dail. And the members of the Dail created a constitution, a 6-article constitution, to go forward, to govern in the Dail going forward. And that would have been there until we, as a people, got a written constitution ourselves, you know. So that was 1919, okay. And the other 1919 constitution that's been talked about is what the éiRe would call their sovereign constitution, the éiRe sovereign constitution. Now, from what I have learnt about sovereignty, it's the man, the woman, the people that are sovereign on this island if you don't have a crown, if you don't have a sitting monarch, you know. So the éiRe saying that we should revert back to the 1919 Constitution. You know, we weren't free from the crown at that time. We became a dominion of the crown, right? We became a free state. And a free state was a dominion of the crown. We were still part of the crown. And it pains me to think that all these years I thought we were a republic. No, we weren't. You know, we were still under the crown. So in 1922, our éiRe Constitution came about, you know, and that was for the Republic of Ireland, okay? And the Republic of Ireland really came about under the Republic of Ireland Act, you know. So we were not a free state. We were a dominion of the crown, okay? So going forward, that was it. So we proclaimed a nation in 1916. We declared a nation in 1922, okay? In 1919, after our 1918 elections, all right? And then in 1922, we got our éiRe Constitution for the Republic of Ireland, okay? So you had the Republic of Ireland and then you had Northern Ireland, and they're two different statelets. And they are two statelets under the Crown. But they are within the 32 county area. And éiRe is a sovereign nation. Because in 1936 the king abdicated. In 1937 we voted in, the people of Ireland voted in our sovereign constitution. You know? So the 32 county sovereign constitution of éiRe, Bunreacht na hÉireann, is our constitution, and it's in the office of the Supreme Court for record. So there's no getting about, there's no getting past that, you know. And yes, we were hoodwinked, but because of the First Amendment that brought us into time of war, and going forward then the Second Amendment changed our text, etc., the people didn't realise what was happening. You know, we were hoodwinked, and this was all done fraudulently, you know. So 1937, we voted in our constitution. 1939 changed everything. And we were brought back in under the crown in 1942 again with that blue book, with that blue constitution. So guys, this is the corporate constitution, right? It says Bunreacht na hÉireann on it. But you see the all caps? That's American Sign Language. That's not even proper English. Okay? So that's your corporate constitution there. That was brought out in 1942. And they have had updated versions since, of course. Okay? This is the original 1937 Constitution. This is our Constitution. Okay? Now, there was a man came up on stage, went up to speak after me, and he was talking about the 1922 Constitution, that we need to go back to the Free State Constitution. And I said to him, sure, there's an oath to the crown. There's an oath to the king in that constitution. And he said, yeah, I know. So, do we want to go back to being under the crown? Do we want to stay under the crown? Or do we want to free our nation once and for all? We are the first generation that has figured out this lie. You know, we have a responsibility to our people. We have discovered this. We now have a responsibility to get us out from under the crown once and for all and get us out of this corporation. As my mother would say, SH1T. You know, get us out of this. You know, the people of Ireland, the people of éiRe, we have a solution. And we can invoke our 1937 Constitution because this is in the office of the Supreme Court. And we have found so many discrepancies, you know. So this is our strength. This is our strength, you know. And do the people of Ireland really want to be under the crown? Do we really? So why are all these mixed messages going out there? You know, talking about all these different constitutions. It does matter which constitution, because there's only one constitution in law, and that is in the office of the Supreme Court for record. You know, it is the law of the land. If you look it up on your search engine, you will see that Bunreacht na hÉireann, 1937, is the law of this land. So nobody can argue that. It definitely is. Okay, so these other constitutions, I just don't know what planet people are on. I don't understand. So it just makes me think, to be quite honest with you, that our own people are out there trying to confuse things. You know? And we need to be awake to it. It's very unfortunate, and I don't want to put anybody down. Maybe people are confused, and that's why they're talking about their other constitutions and that kind of thing. But at least be willing to listen, guys. At least be willing to listen. You know? Andy. This is Andy Heisman, right? I first heard you talking about the Constitution, and I thought, oh my God, that's fantastic that he is now talking about the Constitution. Fantastic. Yeah? I listened to that video and you spoke about the woman and you spoke about the Constitution and how important our Constitution is and how it's one of the best in the world. You know? And trying to protect the Irish mother and protect the woman and protect the children and all that. You know? I thought, fantastic. Our men are wanting to protect us. You know? And then when I saw you up at the Dail on Wednesday, I thought, great, I'll get speaking to Andy now, and I'll go and ask him, are you going to mention the Constitution? Are you going to speak a bit about it? And first of all, Andy, you had a lovely smile for me when you were passing me, And then when I mentioned the Constitution, whoa, your eyes changed, your facial expressions changed. It was like you didn't want to talk about it. So that really, I was very confused about that, to be honest. So anyway, I let it go. And then I don't know how I got speaking to you again anyway, but when I was speaking to you, Andy, you didn't want to listen. You said talking about the Constitution and about the mother and about the woman. And when an Irish mother comes to speak to you about our Constitution, you don't want to listen. I asked you, did you have the Constitution? And you said yes. And I asked you, where did you get it? And you said you got it up the town somewhere. And I'm sure you said I got it for a fiver or whatever, right? But you said you got it up the town somewhere. And as we pointed out, well, we're the only one that's actually printing this and getting it to the people. So they're not in shops, and up in Dublin. And I didn't understand where that was coming from. So then I thought, okay, you must have the blue book. So I said to you, no, you don't have it, Andy. You don't have it. So when you said, yeah, you had it, I thought, okay, you must have the blue book, So we pointed out to you that, look, we're the only ones that have it and that are printing it. So, I tried to, as I said to you, do you want it? And, I couldn't believe, Andy, that it killed you to say, yeah, it really killed you. And then when I said, it's a tenner, I mean, we can't fund everything ourselves, Andy, as you well know, because I see that you're looking for Revolut payments and all that to help you with a car and this, that and the other. This book is the best book that I've ever put my hands on in my life. The best book. And when you didn't want to know, I couldn't believe it. It was like a punch in the stomach to me. And that conversation that I had with you, Andy, the whole way through, it was like a battle. You didn't want to know. You wanted to basically move on. You felt very uncomfortable talking to me about the Constitution. When I said, oh, it's a tenner for it, you didn't want, oh, I don't have a tenner or whatever. And then I was giving it to you for free. And you were so uncomfortable with it. Now, a lady behind you gave you the money for it because she wanted you to have it, obviously, But you really just shot me down, everything I said. You just shot me down. It'll not work, but you wouldn't even listen to what I was saying. And how will you know something won't work until you listen and hear what the woman's talking about, and so I was trying to explain to you, Andy, how it would work. Okay, but we need the Irish people en masse to come together, And when I was trying to explain it to you, it was very hard to talk because the singing was very loud, etc. And it was hard to hear and all that. So I said to you, look, do you want to have a conversation about this, at some other stage or whatever? And you said, no, you don't want a conversation. So, Andy, I'm sorry, but that really, really makes me question, what agenda do you have? So why would you talk about our Constitution, talking about protecting women and all the rest, and then not want a conversation about it? It makes me question your agenda, Andy. And I got a really bad feeling from you, and I was very, very shocked, to be honest. So I did call you a traitor. And I make no apologies for that. Because to me, anybody now that is not willing to listen and not willing to follow what we believe is a viable solution, anybody that's not willing to do that, then I have to question what's going on. What's behind this? And if you're not there to help our nation, to help our people, you're a traitor. If you're out speaking about wanting to do good and wanting to help and all the rest of it, but when you're actually offered a solution, you're shooting it down. and you're not willing to listen. So I make no apologies for anything, and